Hey, what's up, fellow Switch bargain hunters? How you doing? I'm James Amera here at SwitchWatch, and if you've been here before, then you know what this is all about. We're scouring the UK, EU, and US eShops to find the deals that are on sale, worth buying, worth your hard-earned cash. If it's your first time here, then fair warning where it's due, you're probably not going to escape with your wallet intact. Before we jump in and take a look at those videos, we're delighted to continually be sponsored by Hypercharge Unboxed. We partner with those guys because of the fact that they're so dedicated to bringing new content to their game. There's a demo available that I'd urge you to give a go to before you consider buying it. And actually, there's a huge major update that's releasing this Thursday. We can't wait for that one, so keep an eye on it. All right, without further ado, let's jump in and take a look at this week's deals. Kicking things off with my pick of the week, it's a nice nostalgia hit. Giana Sisters Twisted Dreams is the successor to the classic Giana Sisters on the Commodore 64 all the way back in 1987. You need to dash through tricky levels and transform the whole world at will in this fast-paced, award-winning platformer. It does everything really well, combining graphics that pack a visual punch and tight controls with the challenge of retro-era platforming. The standout feature is morphing between two dynamically different dream worlds to solve puzzles and combat grueling enemies and bosses. It's a nice game with a very healthy discount right now at £5, $5 or €5. Juan, Jordan, what are your picks this week?
What's up, how's everyone doing? Jordan here with my bog of the week. Now, I've been eyeing up Lumo for a long ass time. I've been wanting to add it to my physical collection, but so far, I've not found it for the right price for me. But when James told me about the digital sale, well, that physical desire went out of the window somewhat. On the eShop, you can pick this old school style isometric dungeon puzzle game for an impossible to resist 90% off. It's only $1.99 in the UK, US, and Europe. So yeah, I am downloading this as I speak, and I think and hope many of you out there will be too.
Thanks very much, James. Hope you're well, everybody. I'm picking a game that hasn't been out on the Nintendo Switch that long, actually. It's Monster Sanctuary. I think this is a wonderful game where you get to choose your familiar and become a monster keeper. And while you're at it, saving Monster Sanctuary. Now, we love this. You get to use the power of the monsters that you collect whilst exploring this Metroidvania-inspired world. And the beauty here is that finding differing monsters will give you the ability to open up more of the world. Throw in some 3v3 tactical combat, and we have us a mix here of genres that we absolutely love. This is 25% off, so in the UK, it's $11.99, and in Europe and USA, $14.99. So if you haven't tried this one yet, make sure you do. Just an extra snippet of information, if you haven't checked out our channel GamesXpanse yet, that deals with the Series X and PlayStation 5. But just wanted to let you know that on Game Pass, this game is available to play within your subscription. Take care, everyone. See you next time.
Great picks there, guys. There's two games that I really do enjoy. Up next, it's Yooka-Laylee. These guys are back in this nostalgic 3D platformer that feels more N64 than Mario Odyssey. I guess I'm just feeling a little bit nostalgic today. The world is beautiful, the characters, both good and bad, look great, and there is a lot of exploring and platforming fun to engage with. Mostly, this hits all the right notes, and at this price point, it's a good game to add to your collection. This is one of those breath of fresh air games that comes along from time to time. If you are unfamiliar with Yoku's Express, it plays as a Metroidvania pinball game set in a beautiful fantasy world. It sounds odd, but it plays really great. Exploration is the key, and though it looks cute and certainly can be enjoyed with children, don't be fooled into thinking this is a really easy game. It has some bite to it. Don't skip this at this price. If you want a challenging, non-linear world to explore, then Blasphemous is the game for you. The combat is absolutely brutal. You can customize your build by discovering and equipping relics, rosary beads, prayers, and sword hearts. There are loads of combinations for you to find the best style that suits you. Best of all are the boss battles, which are epic in scope and absolutely huge, dwarfing your character. This is a great game, especially for those that like worlds dark and twisted. An action RPG that is truly an adventure and one of Jordan's favourites to boot. You are shipwrecked on a mysterious island and all the other passengers are spread around. You explore around searching for heroes to bring together to your home base, which gradually builds up, all the while you're trying to plan your escape. But there is a very mysterious link with the eponymous Giana as you switch between them. It's a fascinating story that is always developing. The action combat is excellent and it's just so fresh compared to many other overly serious JRPGs that are out there today. The Inner World is a whimsical point-and-click adventure with a Rick and Morty look and feel. The game has some tough challenges, and to progress you will need to talk to every character in order to solve these, or often revert to the game's decent hint system. There are many choices on the Switch for this genre now, and this is a decent one, but it isn't the finest. The additional content does add to the longevity though, and 75% off makes it worth looking at. I feel as though Planet Alpha is the kind of game that went a bit under the radar. It's a platformer that is both unique and shows its inspiration at the same time. Landing on an alien world and without any weapons or traditional means of defense or attack, you largely use the stunning planet itself to achieve success. There is a true alien feel reminiscent of the Oddworld series and Another World. Giant creatures roam the land, and there is an abundance of vegetation unlike on our home planet. The story is linear and enjoyable, and what makes it stand out is the clever use of the day and night cycle, which you can control and manipulate in order to solve puzzles. The graphics are lo-fi but stunning in my opinion, and this is one to enjoy solo from start to end. Next up, it's the Escapists 2. This sandbox from Molded Tooth Studios was picked up and published by Team 17, and it's a real blast. Escape by any means necessary is your primary objective. After a hilarious intro where your character is sipping pina coladas on a beach, having escaped from prison, you are dragged back and the game kicks off. Having tasted freedom, you want it once again. Each of the 10 prisons is its own sandbox complete with dynamic inhabitants that will get into trouble with or without you, as they often fight each other, earning a beating from the guards, and will even attempt to escape or get caught with contraband themselves. You get to feel as though you're Andy Dufresne from Shawshank Redemption, or perhaps Fletch from Porridge is more fitting given the hilarity. The premise of the game is excellent, and the open world nature leaves your mind puzzling over the best location to escape and how to achieve it. Should you try and dig out, dress up as a guard and try and walk out, your mind can work up wonderful plans and the game will let you work towards them. This is the beauty of the game, and with additional content added, there is now multiplayer and more prisons past the original 10 to enjoy. A real steal for this price. Agent A is a puzzle adventure that stands out for its comic style and retro story straight out of the 60s. It started out life on mobile, so it's a natural fit in handheld mode, where the touchscreen works nicely as you search for clues and figure out where to use your inventory items. You play as Agent A, infiltrating the lair of the evil Ruby LaRouge, but things soon go wrong. The puzzles are tricky. This is the type of game where you will get stuck and start randomly trying out items until something works. It's a little tough in places, but you get all of the episodes in this Switch version, so there's plenty of content, making this a bargain with 90 or 95% off. In Earth Atlantis, the Earth's surface has been covered by 96% water due to the great climate shift at the end of the 21st century. The main capital cities have all but gone and now lay in ruin deep in the seas, where all that's left is steel and stone. Machines now roam as they have adopted the form of terrifying sea creatures. Human civilization has fallen. All you know is that you are a hunter, and this is where your journey begins. The game is a side-scrolling retro shooter with a Metroidvania type map where there are no levels, just areas open up for you to explore as you progress. It's super simple to play and the controls feel tight and very intuitive. In fact, there is only the analog stick to move your sub left and right, and then you hold a button to fire weapons. That's basically all there is to it. The challenge is avoiding the enemies and the enemy fire. Typoman is a very clever platformer that looks and in some ways feels like Limbo or other similar indie titles. Its unique point is that it uses letters very literally. Puzzles involve moving letters around to spell words in order to progress. This is not just about spelling words, though, as you interact with the letters physically in the game, manipulating them in order to solve these puzzles. It's refreshing and creative. At times it's a little bit clunky, but 65% off makes this a real bargain too. The Way is a cinematic platforming adventure game originally released from Puzzling Dream. It was released a while ago on Steam, but thanks to Sonka, it's been remastered and published onto the Nintendo Switch, with an aim to hark back to classic games such as Flashback and Another World with modern integrations, and it does hit the mark. We experienced some bugs when this first came out, but the team have made a lot of fixes over time, and it now has a very chunky 93% off, which is making this a good time to buy. Spaceland is a really nice introduction to the strategy genre. Battles are quite short and everything is just really accessible. That's not to say it's boring. There's a light story, characters to recruit, and strategy on hand, but it is distilled down to its purest form. Taking control of a small squad of Space Marines and picking up different characters along the way is a nice, easygoing game that is certainly best enjoyed in short, handheld bursts. The Disgaea series produces bonkers, deeply strategic turn-based games with RPG elements, and Disgaea 1 is where it all began over 15 years ago. This game has been remastered in HD and crams in the various content added in the various ports over the years. This game is a menu lover's dream, full of systems upon systems. Its cast is quirky, and it feels like reading a manga or watching anime during the story elements. It's not for everyone, but fans of this type of game will love it, and I'm certainly one of them. Yesterday Origins is a point-and-click adventure with a rollercoaster story set across different time periods. It mixes in a bit of the occult and history and some humour. The story is brought to life by voice acting that works really well, a decent script and nice visuals. The gameplay is the classic point-and-click affair. You try and solve puzzles using visuals or text-based clues, and at some point you start hitting and hoping. The biggest issue here was that the game was, in our opinion, just really overpriced. Now that's fixed with 80% off, it's time to consider this one. Strikey Sisters blends block-breaking classic gameplay with fantasy role-playing, and the result is intriguing. The game is clearly made to be enjoyed with two players, one taking each sister's role, and doing so makes for a fun arcade gameplay. Single player, you can enjoy the game levels and bosses, but breaking blocks and enemies solo is that little bit tougher. It's a bit more of a slog, to be honest. The retro style and synth tunes work nicely. It's one worth checking out if you enjoy classics like Breakout, and if you've got someone to play with, I'd give this one a go. And that's it from us this week. Thanks so much for stopping by and hanging out with us. I hope you have enjoyed this video. This week there's lots of stuff that's pretty cheap. What is your favourite? What is your pick of the week? Is it something that's not listed? Do let us know down below. Stick around and we'll have many more videos coming out regularly here at SwitchWatch. We've got you covered. Jordan's back tomorrow with the physical release roundup, and over at our sister channel GamesXpanse, we're bringing you content around the PS5 and Xbox Series consoles primarily. Thanks again. We'll see you on the next one. Until then, have a great week and take care.